Hello and welcome to our nurture program for beautiful, soulful ladies like yourself. So, I actually just came back from my lunchtime walk. It's about 2 o'clock 3 o'clock in Ireland right now, and it's a hot summer day outside. The kids are playing in the pool. Yes, I am wearing a jumper inside because the house is a little bit cold and we don't have the heating on. So inside is actually colder than outside, and the kids are playing out in the pool outside. So we came back from our walk. Myself and my husband, we both work from home, and managing the kids in between can sometimes be stressful. If you're working from home, you would know, and if you have kids to manage in between, it can be difficult. So I have my teenage daughter who is actually taking care of the kids outside. She's watching them while myself, I came to record this video and my husband went back to work. So today we are going to be talking about stress management and self-care, which is quite relevant in me sharing with you how we went for a walk after lunch and we came back to doing our work. So now this is not something that we do every single day because, as you would know, the weather in Ireland is a bit awkward. Sometimes it rains so much, and around winter time the weather is like so cold and so wintry, of course, and it's not always like that. But this week we decided that we will be doing our walk after lunchtime because the weather is nicer. But sometimes I would do, even if it's raining, I would go in the early in the morning at 7 before the kids gets up. Sometimes I would go for my walk and come back. Or if the weather is okay, then myself, my husband, and the kids, we all go for a walk after our dinner. Now I live in a beautiful area called Balbriggan. It's the North County in Ireland, and the weather is the area is beautiful because there's the sea. We have a beautiful playground. The kids can go and play while myself and my husband we walk around the playground, which is beautiful to have. And I am very well aware that not everybody will have this opportunity to do this, but I am sharing with you what I do and how I manage my stress in a very simplistic way. So managing our stress is to implement a few routine, a few habit as we know it so far. We know how our good habits and bad habits both impact our lifestyle and our health, rather. So introducing a few healthier habits that manages our stress as we live our lives or manage our life and work and family and everything else around is very important, because you don't want to wait until something is going very wrong in your body. Then we're going to think about ways to manage our stress. So few little routines that you can implement to manage your stress could be just introducing maybe a 5-10 minutes walk around the place that you live, or maybe getting a 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes meditation that can allow you to de-stress a little bit. Some people use journaling. I would be journaling in the evenings when I go to bed. I like writing it a little bit because I think as a mom and a creative business owner, I think my mind is quite busy, and I like creating. I get loads of ideas, and not all of it is relevant, but that's just the way my brain works. I get ideas and I want to produce and I want to create, which is not always very healthy because I can't do all the ideas that I get, but I can work on one or two. And so for me, just processing those thoughts and putting the ideas onto paper and review them after a while and see whether those uh, ideas are worth investing into or giving my energy into. So for me, just because my brain, sometimes I say my brain works like a machine and it just goes on and on and on. So for me, processing that and putting it into a piece of paper works for me. So I actually have my routine set. I have my bedside I have a pen that's always there. I have a gratitude journal, which I write my happiness or everything that makes me happy. Someone gifted it to me, so it's there. I use it maybe a few times during the week, and I have a journal also gifted to me by my husband because he knows this is the thing I like. So it's there. It doesn't go anywhere, and this is my routine. I would do this in the evening, and like that I just have my routine created, my habit created, that allows me to stress, because I tend to, as a person, the way I am built, I tend to store so much inside and I wouldn't process. So this is few of the things that works for me. I also do a bit of yoga, and I think movement allows us to de-stress as well. So yoga, walking, meditation, journaling, talking to a friend, and listening to podcast, and not podcast, sorry, music, maybe soft calming music that just allows your system to slow down and breathe. And there's something about music that allows us to just connect and be in the present. Something, it depends on what kind of music of course you are listening, but these are a few things that helps me, and I hope this will give you a few ideas of how you could just implement those routine into those ideas, I mean, into your own routine. So just waking up, it doesn't have to be like take an hour into de-stressing. So everybody's busy, everybody has a family, work, and every education and everything else that we're managing, but just like taking 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, that doesn't make it feel like overwhelming or I am de-stressing now. So you don't want to be stressing over de-stressing. So how can we create a simple way that allows us to bring or to introduce some healthier de-stressing habits and self-care? So as I wake up in the morning before the kids, I just take the time to wake up before the kids. I make sure that I'm doing it before them. So I know 7 o'clock is the earliest they get up and 8 o'clock is the latest they would get up. So I make sure that I get up before them. I always do. So before they get up, I would do a few minutes meditation. And the days that I don't feel like I want to meditate, I come down or upstairs in my bedroom. I would do a bit of stretching. It's nothing very exhausting or anything. It's just like a few stretches, like my legs and my arms and my shoulders, like just doing this. So just like maybe 10 or 20, something that allows me to connect with my body and makes me feel grounded. Sometimes if I usually would do them, but then during the day, I also make sure that I'm getting 5 minutes here and there, just to write down something or think about how my day is going, or maybe read my affirmation cards, something that will bring that busyness to back to myself again and connect with me. So these are the things that help me. And then again, after lunch, we sometimes go for a walk, as we did today, or in the evening we go for a walk. And sometimes, if I need, I just go out for a walk on my own, listening to music or podcast. And again, walking, movement that allows me to de-stress. So just to make it short here, I know I'm talking a lot. What is stress and how much does it impact our health? A lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. If I could emphasize it again, stress impacts our health so much. So if you are here today and you are listening to me, I would like to remind you that stress is, in fact, if I could bring it to you in few words, are hormones released into the body in response to emotional stress. So hormones are released into the body in response to emotional stress. So as you probably guessed, the answer to the big question, is stress a big deal? Yes, it certainly is. Especially if you care about your health, you would want to care about all the stresses that we may have in our health, and you want to work around it. So here is what happens in your body when you are stressed. So when you encounter a perceived threat, let's say like a large dog barks at you during your morning walk, for instance, your hypothalamus, a tiny region at the base of your brain, sets off an alarm into your system. Through a combination of nerve and hormonal signals, this system now prompts your adrenal glands located atop your kidneys to release a surge of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. So adrenaline now increases your heart rate. It also elevates your blood pressure and boosts energy supplies, whereas cortisol, the primary stress hormone, increases sugar, glucose in the bloodstream. It enhances your brain's use of glucose and increases the availability of substances that repair tissues. So cortisol also curbs functions that would be non-essential or detrimental in a fight or flight situation. Now, it alters your immune system responses and suppresses the digestive system, the reproductive system, and the growth process. So this complex natural alarm system also communicates with regions of your brain that control your mood, motivation, and fear. So the long-term activation of the stress response system and the subsequent overexposure to cortisol and other stress hormones can disrupt almost all your body's process. Now, this puts you at increased risk of numerous health problems, including anxiety, depression, digestive problems, heart disease, sleep problems, weight gain, memory, and concentration impairment. So all these informations are coming from the Mayo Clinic, and there has been many studies done in this area, and you could do your own research if you need to, but I think we all know how stress impacts our health at this stage. So some other negative impacts, negative effects of chronic stress is nutrient deficiencies as a result of a decreased nutrient absorption, because your stress impacts your digestive system, and the nutrient absorption is reduced. There's a reduced gut flora, which is your good gut bacteria. There is an increased level of cortisol, which can inhibit weight loss and much more. Even your female reproductive system is affected because of the cortisol level. Your metabolism is lowered, and there's an increase of fat storage because of the stress of the effect of stress, and there's an increased oxidative stress, which causes premature aging, and we don't want that. So the resulting hormonal imbalance involving cortisol and insulin in particular, and chronic low-grade inflammation, can set the stage for the development of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, some forms of cancer, and other chronic disease. So chronic stresses can also make you more susceptible to colds and flu and other infections, because it's in fact affecting your immune system. And physical stress now disrupts your physiological homeostasis, which is the balance, in a number of ways, including hormonal and inflammatory pathways that may affect your energy level in an adverse way. So the effects of stress can also affect your state of mind, impairing your working memory and your ability to control your impulses. It also increases the risk of anxiety and depression. In addition, now it's unbridled stress can sap your energy and undermine your motivation and resolve to make or stick with healthy lifestyle changes. In fact, researchers from the University of California, San Francisco, found that people who reported higher levels of stress had a greater drive to eat. And I'm sure when you have probably felt it yourself, when you are stressed, you would eat a little bit more, or you would just grab anything that you feel you want to. It's like more binge eating. So including this inhibited eating, binge eating, and your hunger is a little bit more. So more ineffective attempts to control. Like if you're stressed, you wouldn't be controlling your urge to go and grab something out to binge on. So let's look at how stress is affecting. So did you realize that stress is could be creating a havoc in your life? Now that we know how stress can impact our digestion, our nutrient absorption, our hormones, our blood pressure, our appetite, the aging, the way we age as well, has a lot to do with the amount of stress. Like you would know, you would, like I tend to do this as well when I'm stressed, like here, or our jaws are kind of tense. So it all brings like the wrinkle. But if it's impacting your immune system, definitely it's going to impact you the way you age. And it's not realistic to eliminate all the stress from our lives. Like there will be some certain level of stresses coming from outside, and we will always have some of their stresses, but there are plenty of things that we can do to minimize it in our body. And the first step is actually deciding that it's important enough to do. What's important enough to do? I mean, so children learn from our example, and I think a hectic pace we live in is setting them up for duplicating this pattern and thinking it's perfectly normal to just go and have that kind of stress. So remember, whatever you are doing, your kids, your family is actually copying you, and this is how they are going to be living their lifestyle as they grow. As we spoke before, the kids are like take on everything. They are like sponges. We did that ourselves, so this is how they learn. So brainstorm few things that is bringing your stress level up. Like some common causes of stress are, like, of course, disagreements in your relationship or new relationship, even, or divorce, even, your work, like work related stress. Is it stress to you, or maybe you just change your job and that's maybe causing you stress? A big one is finance, like disagreement in between partners. The disagreement in finances can often be a common cause of stress and something that is not easily tackled with. And maybe a loss of job, or maybe your health, or a family member's health. Like, let's say if someone is ill, or someone you just lost recently, you are still dealing with that grief, and that's causing you stress. Or someone you need to take care of, as you're living your life, you have to care for someone, and that could be a reason for stress. Now, there are also environmental stress that is not related to us, but it brings the stress to us anyway, like family issues, again, disagreement, like you need help, who does more work, who does less more work, who earns the money, who brings the bread home, and so on and so forth, like moving house or birth, or like there are stresses related to your diet itself. So binge eating out all the time, continuous diet with no results, all those bring stress as well. So overtraining, exercising too much, random stressful situations like traffic, scheduling yourself, like too many things on your calendar, those are also stresses that can have impact in our body. And I think oftentimes we minimize the amount of stress we are under because we aren't even fully conscious of it. Like we make it where it's like, this is how things are, and this is how things are, and because we are so busy, we don't even give time, we don't even allow the time for us to think of how we could slow down and think about what are the things that are causing us to stress, and work out something that will minimize it, or maybe work on an action plan on how you could reduce their stress. So it's easy sometimes to take on too much, and when we do, we often end up with a schedule that is way too busy for us to handle, and we find ourselves running in circles and feel like we are not getting too much accomplished. And this stresses us out even more, and we ultimately pay the price with our relationship, maybe, and or maybe our health and other areas, our kids. And we are going to cover some ideas to help reduce the stress. But the first thing I would like to address is probably the most important thing today you can do is starting today. It's simple. You already do it every day, but once you do more of it and do it consistently, you are likely to notice a huge difference in how you feel. So let's get on to the solution. Which one do you think I'm going to say? So my number one tip would be to get more sleep. I know you're going to feel like this is shocking. You wouldn't wait for me to be saying that, but my number one solution to managing your stress is get enough sleep, or get more sleep. Now let me explain you how is getting enough sleep going to help with stress. So let's take a minute and think about your body as a basket. Okay, so there is a basket, and you attach or you tie quite a few balloons to the basket, and when you do that, the basket goes up high and it's flying, right? So stress, let's think about stress as stones. So as many stones you put into the basket, you go down, the basket goes down, and your body goes down as well. So you want to be thriving as the basket goes up, if I'm explaining it correctly. So as you fly, you are thriving, you're flourishing, you're nurturing your body, okay? And that's where you want to be. When you put stress, okay, then the basket is going down and you don't want to happen. So how many stones do you need in your lifetime for the basket to go down? So as life, the way it is, we can't remove all the stresses from that basket, or maybe all the stones from that basket at once. But what we could do is remove one stone at a time from that basket, and lighter the basket becomes, easier it will be for us to thrive or for the basket to fly. So the number one thing that you could do is safeguard your body, or make your body bring your body in a place where those stresses that's happening around you it's much more easier for you to deal. So one way to do so is to take care of the vessel itself, okay? Then the stresses around you won't matter as much. So the way we can do this is if you get enough sleep, and I'll explain you why. So the inadequate slumber over extended period of time may interfere. If you don't sleep, okay, it interferes with your immune function, including your white blood cells and hormonal regulation. So which is why sufficient sleep is linked with chronically elevated levels of stress hormone cortisol. So this also leads to an impaired immunity and elevated levels of elevated hormones such as insulin, increasing the risk of gaining much more body fat, and most often in the midsection, and of developing systemic inflammation and type 2 diabetes. So it also leads to changes in the hormone leptin and ghrelin, which regulate hunger and satiety, which is the feeling of fullness. So in order for us to balance those hormones, sleep is quite important. So if you feel restful when you wake up in the morning, you won't be binge eating. So one stress is already down. Okay, you won't be binge eating. So you won't feel guilty. You won't have the issue of, oh, I'm feeling terrible and then I feel like I want to eat everything else and I need a sugar kick or energy boost. So just by putting your sleep into under control, I mean, you will be feeling more relaxed and much more better, because your hormones are much more regulated when you're sleeping. You don't have that surge of hormones that is affecting your energy level. So including in this session now, I have suggested few ways for you to improve your sleep. But the first one is making it a big enough priority for you to schedule 7 to 9 hours to make sure this happens. This means you have to plan ahead how you're going to get that 7 to 9 hours of sleep. What time you need to get up, what's your commitments, I don't know. Like, you need to stop and think about it. You need to stop and make your sleep a priority. So, like me, I have been sharing my how I do things, and I hope this is inspiring. I don't want to tell you that I am the best, because I'm not a very good sleeper. I have to mindfully make the effort for me to go to bed at a certain time, relax and wind down and do my rituals around my sleep, so I can finally fall asleep and make sure that I get a minimum of 7 hours sleep. So what I do is, after my husband is putting the kids to bed, I make sure that I'm going to bed. This is the one habit that I have created for myself. I go to bed. I don't care if I haven't watched TV that night. I haven't caught up with my series and all. That's not my priority. My priority is my sleep, because I want to be able to get up before my kids the following morning and ready to take care of my family, my work, and my family, and my work. So I need to be able to sleep, and for me to fall asleep is a bit difficult, especially if I'm overly exhausted and have so many things in mind. So I have to get to bed. Sometimes I need to take a shower before I go to bed. Sometimes I just need to do a few minutes meditation. Sometimes I do need to journal. I actually do need to write. Sometimes I need to be listening to music so I can just relax and wind down a little bit, so my body can get into the safety place where now I can rest, now I can sleep. It takes that much for me. So if I was someone who actually was heading to my bedroom around 11 o'clock, I would actually fall asleep by 12, let's say, if I did my routine, my ritual. And if I had to wake up, let's say 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I would be exhausted because I haven't done enough to breathe and rest and slow down. So for me, those things helps me. So it depends on how you feel. Maybe if you need to cut down the 30 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it is of TV time, socializing time, social media time, maybe cut that down and increase your sleep routine. I have also added a guide or the importance of sleep down below somewhere. So read through it, create your routine around your sleep, and make your room a little darker. Maybe use a little bit of essential oil to help you with the smell. Some people like the smell of lavender. And if you are going to be working with me personally on our repair session, I can introduce you to some reliable supplements that may help you with your sleep in the long term, and also investigate actually what is stopping you to sleep, and we can work toward all that. So read through the notes at the bottom of this video and go through some of the ways to take care of yourself. Read through this, take your time. There's no rush. We will come back with another module next week. For this week's module, go through the content, read through it, take your time. But I'm going to share 22 ways to take care of yourself, which is self-care. If you don't have any self-care routine where you can just do something for you rather than someone else, I would urge you to write down even one check the ones that appeal to you when I say it, and that you feel like you can start with today. There's of course there's more than this, but this is the few ideas I'm sharing with you. And of course, the number one is get enough sleep. Number two is take the time to prioritize your day each morning. What are the top two, three things you want to get done today? You don't have to have a long list, but what are two, three things that you would have get done today, and stick to that list and forget about the others. And remember to schedule things as evenly as possible throughout your week. Don't cram too much into your days. Reduce time on the computer and TV. Take deep breath during the day. It doesn't have to be one 20 minutes or 30 minutes meditation. Just breathe throughout your day, even before you start working, maybe after you do a coaching call. Maybe do a few deep belly breath, or before the coaching call, do a few deep belly breath. And eat more slowly, breathe and eat slowly. Be mindful, taste your food, savor the food, smell the food, just chew, and be slow. Connect with your family intentionally and purposefully. Connect with your family and your friends. Take holidays, smaller ones, doesn't have to be big ones. Take holidays, take breaks. Your business, your work, your studies, anything, any goal that you may have in your life, it can continue after 2-3 days. If you're taking the break, you don't need to be feeling overwhelmed that you need to constantly be on Instagram. You have to constantly be working on your business. You have to constantly be working on something. It's okay to take break and go back to it, and you will find that when you go back to your business again, you have more ideas, you are more feeling refreshed because you have more energy, of course. So don't be afraid to ask for help. That's a big one. Do not be afraid to ask for help. If you need to ask your partner to come and clean the kitchen, ask for help. Be respectful, but ask for help. It's okay to ask for help, and make time for yourself. Make time for yourself, even if it's like 5 minutes. You are deserving to have a cup of tea with no one crawling on you at one time. It's okay for you to take time for yourself. Read a book or watch a movie, listen to music, exercise, speak to yourself more kindly. Speak to yourself more kindly. I hope you have their affirmation cards printed, and you are using them. And I would love to hear how it's working for you. Or is there any self talk, negative self talk that you've actually broken down and used a few that we have shared? And the next one is open your windows and blinds in the morning. First thing you do in the morning, open your blinds and your curtains, see the sunlight, feel refreshed, feel the air, the fresh air in the morning. If you can bring your coffee outside, I know it's not always possible, but if you can, even for 2 minutes, have 3 sips, if not all, outside, even if it's cold, put your coat on, put the fresh air. It's just so naturally helpful to de-stress. And remember your goals and aspirations. Have goals and aspirations. Always chase your dreams. Always work towards your goals. Always work towards your dreams, because you're so worthy. Maybe sometimes enjoy a hot bath, meditate, do yoga, get a massage, a facial. You don't even have to go to a spa to do so. You can buy your own stuff, but make time for you to do that. Do a facial, go for a walk on your own. Focus on positive things, be grateful, keep a gratitude journal. Keep a gratitude journal, even if you can write 3 things that you're grateful for every day. That is huge. Even if you can write 1 thing that you're grateful for, even if it's just your bedsheet. I can't tell you how many times I have written this as my gratitude. I am so grateful for my comfortable duvet sheet and my duvet and my bed sheet. Because I think as I was growing up as a child, I remember our bed was like so crap. The mattress was like so thin, and so for me, having a nice and comfortable bed today is something that I enjoy, and I love. I love white bed sheets and just a few pale colored design flowers and design. So for me, being able to buy a nice bed cover that is cotton and something that I like and my husband likes as well. So for me, this is something that I am grateful for. But it's the simple things. It's the simple things. Sometimes I write about I am so grateful that I don't have someone else designing my house or decorating my house or managing my house. I am free to just go in my kitchen and cook anything that I like, whatever I want to eat, of course, but just having that freedom. So this is coming from the years that I had spent with living with my ex-mother-in-law. Well, she's not ex, she was my first husband's mother, so she was my mother-in-law. So we lived in the same house, and I had to be aware of whatever they eat, their routine and the diet, and what is okay to eat or not. So I didn't have that freedom to just cook something. So for me, those little things today are so important, that I have the freedom, I have the space, I have the freedom to just go and change the bed when I want to, or put this plant somewhere else if I like to. It's not that I'm not staying in someone else's house, and I need to be aware of what they think about it. So for me, those little things matters, and I think it's very important for us to go back to basic things and be grateful to those things. And I really hope that this session has helped you. So your to do for this week is list all your commitments and responsibilities, figure out your biggest causes of stress and look at ways you can reduce it. Just start with one thing for now if needed to. As we said, one simple habit at a time. Evaluate your schedule and see where changes can be made to make things less hectic. You need to take time and do this actually. So make sleep a priority because it's so important, and it impacts on our hormones. So make sleep a priority and be sure to get the amount you need as often as you can. Notice how you feel when you are more rested. Write it down. Use our food mood symptom journal to write down how your energy level has been, and what are some of the improvements that you have been seeing. And take your time and look at the list of our 22 ideas for self-care, so you can reduce stress and take care of you. And I would love to learn from you now. So go on our Facebook page and write down 3 to maybe 5 things that you intend to start, and which is the one that you're going to start right away if possible today. So don't forget to tag me on on our Facebook group, and let me know everything that's working for you, or anything that's been challenging for you so far, because it excites me to learn more. And also your feedback will help me or allow me to improve this program for the next batch that comes in. So have a very good week to you, and I hope this is something that is helping you to improve your healthier habits. And good luck to you.